Sit down, Akshay.
Thank you.
So Akshay, you've got a lot of interests which interest me so much. Public speaking, debating, classical music. So Hindustani classical music, who's your favorite singer?
Kumar Gandharva.
Acha, which is your favorite raga?
Malcolms.
Acha. Do you attend concerts?
Yes, I often attend to concerts also, and if not possible, I listen on CDs and DVDs as well.
Sari-Gama. What does Ma mean?
Sir, honestly speaking, I am not fluent in technical details of music, but I certainly can appreciate it.
As a hobby?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are interested in public speaking and debating?
Yes.
Okay. Now we both will debate for and against the topic. Okay.
Fine.
I give you the liberty to choose the topic.
Land Acquisition Act.
Okay. So you don't talk for or you don't talk against? You will talk for. That's
Okay,
more
fine.
difficult.
Fine.
Everybody is talking against, so you will
Right.
talk against.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So 1 minute you will talk. Start.
Basically, India is agrarian economy, but we are lacking in manufacturing sector, for which many farmers are seeking the job in manufacturing sector. Infrastructure is very much essential for manufacturing, and infrastructure is lacking for last almost after independence to a greater extent. So if we want to develop infrastructure, create the jobs which are almost needed, 1 million jobs per month, we need land for such infrastructure project. And if we need land, we certainly have to have a very robust, a very concrete, a very resilient land acquisition act for that. There are some issues raised by opponents that the lack of social impact assessment, lack of consent clause in the Land Acquisition Act may hamper the interests of farmer. But certainly by specific amendments, like instead of keeping consent act for 80%, we can reduce the consent act to 50% or so, and by that we can fetch the interests of.
Very good. So you participated in the second Indian Students' Parliament 2012. What did you do?
Sir, in fact, Students' Parliament is a concept developed by MIT Pune. In it, the students from all over India are screened and they are invited for the parliament. Various speakers for 3 days come consequently and they speak on different issues. Also, students can raise their opinions, can put up their stands in it also, and can question the people and speakers coming there.
Who's your favorite parliamentarian today when it comes to public speaking? Public speaking English, public speaking Hindi, and public speaking Marathi.
To say public speaking in English, I will name Mr. Arun Jaitley, the Union Finance Minister. Regarding public speaking in Hindi, in fact there is none, but if you allow me to say the parliamentarian not in present parliament, I will name Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
A lot of people think the Prime Minister is an amazing orator. He captivates the imagination of people.
Yes.
So you're not impressed with this Hindi public speaking?
I like his speaking, but I'm not impressed by his speaking.
The New York Times calls him a rock star. His Madison Square performance.
Yes, certainly.
But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have impressed you.
I like his speaking, but I'm not impressed as I was impressed by Mr.
Let's leave it at that.
Yes.
What do you blog about, and what's your blog ID?
It's kharokar.blogspot.com.
Spell it for me.
KHARO KHAR
KHARO.
KHAR.
Okay.
.blogspot.com.
Okay. What do you blog about?
I have not constrained myself to specific subjects of blogging, but I blog about the various experiences I come across in my daily life. Basically, during my engineering years, I participated in different activities. So I met different people like Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. I had privilege to interview such people, Mr. Mangesh Padgaonkar.
Did you work with Speak Maki?
Yes, sir. Yes, I was volunteer in Speak Maki Pune chapter.
What does Speak Maki stand for?
Speak Maki, you are asking me for long form of
Whichever way.
Okay, SpeakMac is an organization created in Delhi IIT by Mr. Kiran Seth.
It is for what?
It's for spread of classical music among students.
Okay. So,
maybe Mr. Patil, do you feel proud to be Indian? Absolutely proud to be Indian.
Yes, certainly, I do feel.
Okay, what are the points in favor of that? Or are there any concern that still there is a hope for improvement in public administration and there are many things because many people get frustrated being Indian and being in India.
That might be the case for a very sporadic pocket of the society, but my experience tells me that in many of the school children, in many of the college students, people are very much enthusiastic about being part of India. India is such a diverse country, such a diverse experience you can have in this country, which probably in other country it is difficult. So I think
To be very
yes.
candid, when I come across the traffic and
Yes.
when I roam around in city
Right.
with family, with kids,
Yes.
I feel very frustrated myself. I feel I should leave this country and go somewhere else and settle out there.
Yes.
Because I compare the conditions of traffic and other security concerns
Yes.
for other countries. So I myself don't feel very proud to be Indian.
Yes. The problems of different societies are different. So probably the problems of Western countries might differ from problems that India is facing today. But certainly, though there are many different issues like as you mentioned, sir, about traffic, about public administration, though there are issues, I don't think that it is cause for frustration. Rather, my stand for that will be we should participate in the solving of all such problems, and that only will help and will create a better India for tomorrow.
Solving all problems. If I were to give you this magic pen,
Yeah.
okay, you rub it and you can think of two solutions that will immediately be implemented. What will the two solutions be?
First will be sense of community ownership among the community for solving and for participating in the system. And the second will be spread of constitutional values among the people and especially youths of today.
Okay, I think most people don't like India. First is because there's too much of poverty. Second is we don't have a proper health system. You agree? Good food and good health will lead to happiness. People will like India. What do you say?
Food is certainly a basic need. There are number of people, almost 30%, though there is a lot of debate about BPL line, almost 30% of Indians are below poverty line for sure. So food is certainly a very much basic need. But only food and only livelihood won't help. We want to create more jobs, better life. So rather than just sustaining for the whole life, I think prosperous life is right to life according to Article 21. So mere food won't help, though it is very much essential.
what is real happiness? What is the idea of happiness? What is your idea? What does it mean to you?
Real happiness, I think, for me is satisfaction in the job you are performing and being connected with people.
What is the idea of Aristotle?
Sir, I have in fact read it, but I am not able to recollect as of now. There is a specific tradition of happiness in Greek mythology as well as Greek philosophers as well.
You belong to Dhule district, right?
Jalgaon district, sir, basically. From Chalisgaon. I born in Dhule. I was born in Dhule. Yeah.
So you are aware of the surrounding area, Dhule,
Yes.
Nandurbar.
Yes.
What was the problem of these districts, Dhule, Nandurbar?
Regarding specifically talking about Dhule, I would say it has long communal, it is long history of communal sensitivities. There were many riots as well in Dhule. This is the first thing. Regarding connectivity also, Dhule is much lacking. Dhule is only connected to Chalisgarh. So by railway, of course there are highways and other means of transport, but by railway it is connected to only Chalisgarh, and from Chalisgarh there are other routes. So connectivity and other infrastructure. Regarding Nandurbar, the major issue is about tribes. Bhil tribe is there in Nandurbar, so development of that tribe is essential, and Nandurbar is again much lacking from Dhule in case of infrastructure, in case of jobs, and also in case of education.
How to solve the problem of tribal areas in Andhra? What are their exact problems? What is your experience?
Sir, in fact, I am not. I have not experienced the exact conditions by going there, but according to my limited knowledge of the area, I will say that people from there are coming to Dhule. They are taking education in Dhule. Those tribal people from Nandurbar coming there. But when it comes to a job, they cannot avail it. So, by taking education, by being graduate, they have to again go back to Nandurbar and they have to again work there. The jobs of their forefathers and other things. So this create a bad precedence among tribal people that education do not fetch the jobs. So when that comes to next generation, there is very high disincentive among them to have better education for the next generation as well, because they think that by having education or by not having education you have
What
to.
about the health? Is there any issue regarding health?
Yes, sir. Regarding health also there is a issue. But if we talk specifically about Bhil tribe in Dhule district, the health issues are, though not completely, but to a major extent are certainly addressed. But yes, certainly in some pockets we need to address better for health issues as well.
Who are the other tribes in India?
Sir, I am not recalling in fact.
In light of the Nirbhaya episode,
Yes.
you said that India is unsafe for women, and you seem to have very clear ideas about it. So can you please tell us something about it? What's your opinion regarding the Juvenile Justice Act and what should be done for women's safety?
Sir, I will first talk about Juvenile Justice Act. The recent proposed amendments in the Juvenile Justice Act is that to treat people from 16 to 18 age by the acts of adults itself. But there are many scientific research done on this issue. There are research by UN, there are research by WHO as well, which says that the prefrontal lobe of the brain, which is responsible for the proper projection, proper judgment and proper thinking abilities, which decide the actions of a person, is not developed till 20s. So I do not subscribe to the view that the law should be
I basically feel that all these people who commit such heinous offences,
Yes.
okay, they don't even deserve human rights because they are animals.
yes.
Okay, at least animals deserve some rights. They are not even
Yes.
they
Yes.
beasts. What do you think?
No, sir, I was talking about JJ Act.
He was asking this in the context of the Nirbhaya.
Yes, yes, sir.
The whole
Regarding-
Juvenile Justice
yes.
Act got amended because one of the rapists,
Right.
alleged rapist or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
was 16 or 17 years.
Yes, yes.
I think he's a beast.
Yes.
He deserves no human, not even animal
Certainly,
rights.
certainly. But I think exceptions cannot be made as laws. Supreme Court has also said it repeatedly that exceptions
There
can't.
is not only one exception. There are
Yes.
There are several cases.
Sir, if- yes,
Several
yes.
cases.
And if they are adult enough to commit a crime, then they should be adult enough to get punished.
Get
also.
Most of the crimes have been done by the age group 15 to 18.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sir, I completely accept that
The
there
study you are
are.
referring to says the age should be increased to 20, right?
No, they are saying that it should be kept at 18. Sir, I completely accept that there are issues when juvenile commits some such things, such heinous crimes. But I was referring to the NCRB data, National Crime Record Bureau's data of 2013, and of the total rape charges that were filed in 2013 in India, only 5% cases were regarding the juveniles, that is people from below 18. So, yes,
Why
we
18? Why 18 years? Why 18 years?
What's the
What is the
significance of 18?
Why not 15?
People voted 18, so 18.
What is the reason for 18?
You have pretty clear views about it. You have talked about it.
Yes,
a lot.
yes.
That's why I asked you.
Yes. I'm not aware why they have boiled down to 18 years of age, but there must be some scientific research done in this respect. Also, from time to time, with the evolution of time, they must have arrived that probably after 18 years of age, a person gets proper idea of what he is committing, what act he is doing.
Okay,
And
let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, now another major problem in this area that the country is facing is child sexual abuse.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has India come to terms with it? That something like this actually can happen? And if yes, what should we do to fight this menace?
Child sexual abuse is extremely neglected area, not only in India but throughout the globe. We have seen it in UN resolutions. Many countries are not willing to come forward for that. To address the issue, I think that starts right from the awareness creation in people. Satyameva Jayate, I remember the episode started by some channel and hosted by Mr. Amir Khan. They tried a lot for creating awareness among people, and that is certainly helping. The parents should also be aware while sending the children with unknown person. There are issues when children are being sent to school by the school buses.
No,
and
most of the crimes are being committed by the known people.
Yes. Right. So that's why parents should be very much aware while sending children with other kids.
Who are in the house only, uncles and
Yes.
all that,
Yeah.
they are relatives.
It's basically relatives.
Yes. So that's why the other prong of the strategy I mentioned, that creating awareness among children, that should also be the.
You are a district magistrate and
Yes.
you are seeing that this problem is there. You have to address it. So what would be a line of action, especially with this, especially with child sexual abuse? What can you do? What strategy you can develop?
The first of all, I will create a very stringent law and order environment in the district. I will consult with the police administration regarding this. If there are such cases, they must be addressed.
Even child sex abuse, the problem is these cases are not reported itself.
Yes, sir. Right.
So police and all is redundant because
Right.
these cases are not reported to the police
Right.
itself. So what is
Right.
your line of action so that people come up and report these cases to the police itself?
Right. I think schools can be very much a good source of good source of action for this, because children spend much of time in schools. So creating awareness can be very much greatly done by the schools for making children aware. So schools can act in this regard.
Even as a teacher, if you consider yourself as a teacher,
Right.
what would you convey to the kids? Because they are very of tender age. Then
Right.
what would be your message to them?
Sir, regarding this, I like the toolkit created by UN to make awareness among children. They say that they tell to children that nobody should touch to your lips, to your lower parts and to your back parts. So if we convey to children this very specifically, I think children can report it, children can oppose this also if such things happen.
Akshay,
Yes, sir.
what were the causes which led to World War I? Immediate and long-term causes led to World War I. And in what fundamental ways did World War I and World War II change European foreign policy, European economic and foreign policy?
The basic reason I see behind World War I is race for colonies, race for increasing the trade to the greater and greater areas, race for more territory. So that was the basic reason, and which then spilled over to different areas like fighting amongst the troops of different countries, and the World War I started. Regarding the
Any particular role was played by the Austrian and Russian kingdoms?
Yes, sir. I do not remember the name of king that was who was killed.
Austria.
Austrian king that was killed in Ferdinand. Franz Ferdinand. Right. So he was killed by the other kingdom, and so.
Which kingdom?
Sir, no, I am not exactly recalling.
You should know that.
Yes.
The kingdom which
I am
ultimately was
extremely sorry.
assassinated.
Yes.
That was a trigger point for World War I. Okay, continue.
Regarding the impact that was created on foreign policy by World War I and World War II was creation of UN, or the urge for amongst all nations to create a global platform where all countries can come.
Let's come to World War II.
Yes.
So what happened? The outcome, the consequence of World War II on foreign relations.
Consequences of World War
Two.
Be specific on Europe. UN was a global concept. I ask you a specific question. What fundamental ways did it change European foreign policy?
Yes. European countries come to the conclusion that extreme nationalism that was taught through the books of the countries to the children was very much responsible for this, because there
What was one major reason?
for World War II.
No. The major outcome foreign policy impact World War II had on Europe. If I had to ask you the most important impact.
So they all come together and created European Union.
I'm talking about post 1945. After the war, the dust settled down. What happened to Germany?
Germany was alienated
Alienated by who?
by the countries in.
What happened to Germany after the war?
Sir, in fact, I am a bit confused, so I must not.
Okay, let me ease it out for you. Give me two important implications of World War II. Two important implications. European foreign policy.
Okay.
The way Europe started looking at itself, the way it changed its perception of its own self and the world after World War I and World War II. Two important implications.
On global foreign policy.
Let me rephrase the question you were saying. I believe that after World War I and World War II, Europe changed in many fundamental ways. European foreign policy changed in many fundamental ways. Right? European economic policy, right? It also changed in many fundamental ways.
Okay.
Two most important implications you think in that regard on Europe after World War I and World War II.
The economic integration amongst the European countries that was enhanced after the wars. That was the first, I think.
What was the reason for that?
Economic integration, according to the foreign policy theories, economic integration or functionalism decreases the probability of war. So that might be the one of the reasons.
Okay.
And the second major impact regarding economic issues.
Not just economic, that's it. Economic and foreign.
Achha.
They both entitled,
Yes.
right? You cannot
Yes,
separate
yes.
economic.
And the map of European country, Europe as a whole, that got changed, and so much dynamics among the politics of the Europe that must also be got
If
impacted.
Europe started leaning towards, majority of Europe started leaning towards US and polarization.
Yes, certainly. Cold War also started.
Europe suddenly realized that okay, maybe we are not good enough, so
Yes.
maybe we should depend on
Yes.
the US. Do you think there are some implications?
Yes, the part of Europe got inclined towards US, and part of it got inclined towards what formed ultimately the USSR. So and that ultimately caused Cold War, which also make rivalry among European countries as well.
Who was Ingrid Bergman?
Sorry, sir.
Who was Ingrid Bergman?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not aware.
Who is Monica Overgatti?
Sir, I know, I'm not able to.
Grace.
Yes, Grace. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry.
Can you draw parallels between Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi?
Sorry, sir.
Can you draw parallel between Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi?
Yes, certainly. Nelson Mandela was himself follower of Gandhian principles. Both of them were the proponents of mass movements, mass activities. So they took along them not only some few individuals, but they took along them all the masses. So that was the basic underlying thing of both of them. Truth, non-violence were the basic assets for both of them, as well as both of them didn't wish for mere independence, but they wished for empowerment of the whole community, whole country, and all people among them all as well.
Akshay, you are 91 born and
Yes.
you are in very first attempt you are these
Yes.
the interviews. if you have to guide the juniors, then what suggestion you would make regarding preparation for civil services, and what is the role of coaching classes in civil services?
If you allow me, I will start from second question. My stand regarding coaching classes is very much neutral.
Okay.
If anybody wants to join, he can join. Anybody is reluctant, he can't. He may neglect that also. Because it is very much irrelevant whether you join some class or whether you do not join some class. So that is my stand about coaching. And regarding
I have a
guidance,
feeling that coaching institutes actually cost you so much that even for your graduation you don't end up paying that amount of money. Is it actually worth all the exercise? When people ask me, I generally advise them against joining any coaching institute.
And had you joined any coaching institute?
no, I have not joined any coaching institute.
And also respond to his question.
Yes. Regarding that, still I am of that opinion that I am neutral. If anybody is of economic
Okay,
worth,
I'm your friend's, say, a friend or distant cousin. I'm calling you, I'm saying, sir, tomorrow you clear the exam, I'm asking you, sir, should I join a coaching institute? Will you say, I'm neutral, if you want you join, if you don't want you don't join? Will that be your reply?
I will say that I can say about me that I didn't join and I
Boss, I am asking
yes,
you for an advice,
Yes.
and you say, I'm telling about me. If you want to join, if you don't want to, will that be your response? What will I think about you then? I am seeking an assistance from you because you've been successful in the exam.
So from my experience, I will tell you need not to join.
But a large part of the candidates who were selected, they have done formal coaching.
Right.
Some are in Delhi or in Pune or Hyderabad, somewhere. And I see that when a coach coaches a sports person, then that coach particularly gets a medal also, like the Dronacharya and all that. But coaching classes, teachers or coaches, they never get the recognition. And they are making civil servants of highest caliber also, if they are at all. Then shouldn't we recognize their contribution also?
I think it depends upon the students of that coaching class. If the students really feel gratitude, sense of gratitude towards some teacher, they will certainly recognize him throughout the life. So yes, we can make some formal system, but I think the reward from students is the most important, and it should come from students rather than anything.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
All the best.
He should be.
So, Akshay, give us the feedback. So, how did your session go?
I think my interview was okay. Though I got fumbled in some issues like World War and etc. I need to refresh all those facts and some issues.
So don't bother, even if you're going to be factually incorrect. Okay, what we're looking at is not about the knowledge of your facts. It's about how you carry yourself, even if you don't know the answer or if you don't know the fact. That's more important than the fact in itself. Good, you did your interview pretty well. You did what went good. Pretty well. Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you, because you do a lot of public speaking, there will be a lot of question on books you read. Because if you have to speak, you need to read a lot. So the funda is, because these are your strong points, and because you elaborated so much on these issues, in law there is something called a leading question. Okay? Leading question means I am asking a question in such a way that you will say a yes or no answer the way I want. Okay? So similarly, when they are going to be asking you questions on public speaking, debate, okay, you prepare a set of things in a very nice manner so that you just invite them into your trap and you just have enough ammunition to hit back them, because this is your strong point, it's a forte. Okay? And Hindustani music, though you are not conversant with the technicalities, sit down one day, okay, starting from the basics, okay, there will definitely be questions because they like part of your hobbies. Otherwise, you did public speaking,
Your strengths are you are confident, you come across as a genuine person, you have command over your language, you think before you speak. Right? body language is good, but I can't think of many
Negatives at all. Your interview date is on.
18th of May.
Work on these strengths.
Yes.
So you are
And
putting
stay
this.
calm that day. Till then, keep yourself in this mood.
Work very hard these 10-15 days. You have every reason to make it.
But work hard in international relationships.
Yes, yes.
Actually looking for a
Yes.
much more insightful answer. It's one of your options.
पहिला स्मॉल आहे का?
नाही दुसरा
कम्फर्टेबल आहे त्यांनी ते ड्रेस विषयी विचारलं ते ब्लॉग वरती लिहिले
हो हो नाही, माणिकराव गोडघाटे म्हटल्यावर तुम्हाला हे झालं पण असं ते ग्रेस असं
You written 5 blogs on.
सॉरी
You
सर
have written 5 blogs on Greece.
येस
There is
येस
a lot about that.
बरंच काही ग्रेसबल माहिती.
माझं नावाच
इंग्रिड बर्गमन इंग्रिड बर्गमन माहिती कोण आहे?
नाही नाही
ऍक्ट्रेस होती, फार सुंदर होती, फार फेमस होती. तिने सुसाईड केलं.
ओके
तिने का सुसाईड केलं याच्यावर ग्रेसने खूप काही लिहिलं.
हो
का केलं असेल आणि संध्याकाळच्या कविता
हो, हो.
तिला अर्पण केलं.
अच्छा
बऱ्याच
नक्की
गोष्टी
बघतो
जास्त बोलला नाही त्यामुळे जास्त विचारलं. पण ब्रशअप कर सगळ्या गोष्टी बऱ्यापैकी
कॉन्फिडन्स छान आहे अशा
पण इंटरनॅशनल लिस्ट विचारलं नाही. नेपाळमध्ये वगैरे काय करायला पाहिजे बऱ्याच गोष्टी येऊ शकतात.
Nepal, even the nuclear deal, Iran nuclear deal.
Modi's new foreign policy. Modi,
हो
present government.
गव्हर्नमेंट फॉर
बऱ्याच गोष्टी तू बायोडेटा लिहिल्यामुळे इकडे जास्त जाईल.
अच्छा
काही नाही. व्यवस्थित ब्रशअप करून शांतपणे आहे.
If I were to ask you what is your opinion on Rahul Gandhi's public speaking, what would be your answer?
I like his speaking. There is style of everybody speaking, but it is good. Means he can sometimes can certainly appeal to the people.
Yesterday will not get answer like yesterday.
Okay. All the very best.
Thanks.
We wish you all success.
Thank you.
You have a good
All the best.
chance.
What is it?
YouTube